I think that's about right.
T-minus 11 days, and it is 10 days for our True Blue draft, Jesse.
Yep.
So that one's going to be...
As I like to call it, the carne asada draft.
Oh, yes. And
the carne asada is going to be expensive this year. Damn.
Yeah, it is. It's up there. What are we, like 11, 12, 13 bucks a pound now?
Yeah, man. It's like
something like that.
99 a pound.
Yeah, it's up there,
and
man.
Even the 2-day-old one is like $11.99. I mean, it's like, you know.
the manager special?
The one that's a little verdecito.
Yeah,
Is that green? Is that green?
The manager special.
You need to sell it today, and you need to eat it 3 hours ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Ay Dios mío. Well, you know what? I'm pumped. How are you guys just done with doing like mock drafts and all of that jazz?
I'm a procrastinator. I wait till after everyone's injured, and then I get into it because you do them now. You think you're doing everything's great, and you got your strategy, and then guys are getting hurt. We'll talk about the injuries that are happening, and it's just I think for me the later the better. So I'm a super procrastinator for my mock drafting. Haven't even done any mock drafts yet, but I think this week is when I get started.
I have been doing a lot of mock drafts, and I'll be quite honest. I have failed a lot of mock drafts, so this is impressive. Let's just say my GPA, if it was a GPA, I would barely be able to play high school football.
You know what's funny? I've barely gotten like a couple of B's this year. It's on the grades, and I'm sitting there. I'm trying different things. I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, I think maybe they want me to go running back, and let me try this out. Everything's like C plus, B minus, or something like that. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think the challenge is you hit it right on the head. The running back position. I think this is a deep wide receiver draft. There's a lot of and then we changed our draft, Jorge. So that's going to make this thing even more interesting. But if you think about it, running backs, you're not going that deep. We're a 14-team league. So, man, it's going to be an interesting challenge. You got maybe 3 tight ends that are at sort of that elite level. And then it just it's like the first Wright brothers flight, not the one that got off the ground, but the first one that went, that's kind of what it looks like on the tight ends. And so, it's going to be a challenge, man. And so that's where we're all, on pins and needles. I got to think, the first 5, I don't know, maybe 7 out of the first 10, 6 out of the first 10 picks are going to be all running backs, right?
Probably.
Pretty standard, yeah.
And then what happens after that? También, it's like, cliff diving in Acapulco. It's going to be like, oh my God!
After the top running backs are gone, you got.
Yeah, I mean,
it gets interesting. It gets interesting.
It gets really interesting, man. You better have some good insights. And unfortunately, this year, as Jorge knows, I always make it a point of finding that jewel in the rookies. I've always been able to do that, and this year, I'm gonna have to look a little harder because I was certainly putting a lot of emphasis on Travis Etienne and. Jeez, man.
Ay, Dios mío.
That's a tough one. We'll get into that, right?
So first we got a couple questions in the chat. We got Buen Amigo Shane Barrett, FF Shane B, 14 QB, 14 team, 1 QB or Superflex. It's one single QB. So the running backs fly in that one. And I think Travis Kelce is going to go in the first round. It's and I'm pretty sure Devontae Adams. And this is the interesting part. My team has called themselves the Sofa Kings. We are the number 13 pick, and Jesse is at number 14 on the Snake. So
you guys are going to be going at each other, man. The
whole draft is going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. The one, and I was, when we're talking about rookies, I had Saquon his rookie year, and he did amazing for me, and
That was a couple years after you blew up with Zeke in his rookie.
Oh yeah, I had Zeke. I had and you were making fun of me, George.
I was.
George. Oh, from Ohio State, the criminal from Ohio State, and then boom, guess who won that league? That was the opposite. That was like the Blue Origin penis-shaped rocket thing. It just went up into the sky. It was amazing. Jorge.
So as he said, RB early and often. RB early and often. Oh, Jesse, you got a question. Is that a Dia de los Muertos poster behind you?
It is not a poster, but it's actually an original piece of art by Ernesto Llerena. He's a local artist who does some amazing work. We can run through my art real quick. That's a Lalo Alcaraz original. That's a great piece. Over my head. Oh, and you can't see it today. I'm sorry because of my angle and because I have a big head. I'll show you the Chavo del Ocho painting that I have.
Oh, yes. One of my favorites. Sígame los buenos.
It's a fantastic piece. It's a little bit of a mixed media piece, but I got that in Mexico City. It's a fantastic piece. And then over there, right here, I have the man himself in Vince Scully.
There you go.
Creeping. He's creeping. Hey, Shane says it's beautiful. Yes. You look up at Ernesto's work. If I get a chance, I'll get his Insta and you can check that out. But it's a really good piece. Cool. Really good work.
Oh,
he
yes.
He works with Shepard Fairley, so he's a printmaker as well. Great guy. Oh wait,
yes, Shane. We got great Vin stories at one point. We'll have to do a show just around
that. Jorge has the best Vin stories. But last but not least is S. Preston's work. That's another original piece from him, who does Dodgers. He does Major League stadiums around the world. Cool. So it's really good around the country. Sorry.
Just beautiful. Well, Jesse, you've been. I'm so glad you're.
Who's that closet by? Behind
the closet is by.
Jorge has a closet door behind him.
BB&B, the BB&B artist.
Perfect.
Or limited edition.
Limited edition.
The HD. But Jesse, yeah, aside from all your draft prep, give us a quick update on the 5MX because you guys are kicking butt. Dígame, primo.
We're kicking butt. We have since the last time we were with you guys, we have the app. We had the app for Adrian, which was our first app. Then we have an app for Jock Peterson called Young Jock 650. We have an app for a boxer named Gabe Rosado. It's called KGR, King Gabe Rosado. We have an app out now for Jose Cifuentes, who plays for LAFC. That's called Sifu 8. We have an app. We just put out an app for a lifestyle, our first lifestyle artist, and he's a barber, and he goes by the name Popular Nobody. Yes, Jorge, you're in. He'll fix you all up. Well, maybe Hector. Hector looks like he still has some.
Little bit, yeah. I'm hanging on for dear life. So.
Hector's high and tight.
Don't let go. But he's got an amazing. He's got a lot of empowerment, and motivational thoughts and ideas. And so we're getting ready, and we've gotten his out, so it looks good. We have a fitness one coming out with a really amazing woman named Andy Yanez. So we have the Ron Say app that's coming. So we're our art's going to be called RC10. So it's very so you can get your RC10 merch. We're going to be excited about that. So we've got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. I can't tell you who they are, but we've got a hockey vertical. We've got a MMA vertical coming as well. So we've been really, really busy,
Love it. So yeah, I mean, as we've talked, I mean, it's a great. You got a great partnership with everybody. I mean, Adrian El Titan. Not only is he blasting homers in the Olympics and in Mexico, he's hitting it out.
He's having a great time in Mexico, man. He is. They're in the playoffs and doing well. So
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Yeah, I saw some video of him like signing autographs with his mascara and everything. So
Yeah, yeah, no,
staying safe.
the team's called Mariachis de Guadalajara. So if you want some mariachis merch, you can buy that on the app too. So we've tried to cover it as much as we can in terms of what the fans want and everything and making it accessible. I remember growing up seeing like tomateros and in the naranjeros jerseys, and you're like, where do you get that? Right. So that was one of the things that we made an effort to make sure we had all that mariachis merch on Adrian's on the Titan 23 app. So we're really excited about that. So
boys,
we'll get you some hats.
Oh yes, mariachis. Hey, favorite mariachi song?
Favorite?
Yeah,
I think you have to go. Man, it's probably the mariachi version. You know what's just funny, and it's a bolero. But when I hear the mariachis do Gema, it really, because my parents grew up in the trio. They really had the trio. It was the trio era, right? So Los Panchos and Tres Haces and those guys, and so I grew up that. But every time I hear Gema in the mariachi side, on the mariachi style, I think it's one of the greatest. But if you but a true mariachi song, it's probably Jose Alfredo Jimenez's En el último trago. I think that's one of the most devastating of the mariachi songs. It is not very, and it's not one of the most popular ones, but it's Cascabel and all that other stuff. But that dude is mariachi music was really country music before there was country music. That's really the heartache and the heartbreak and
and there's alcohol involved. It really is.
There's alcohol involved all the time.
And it's a woman. It's a woman leaves you. It's
broken heart.
Yes,
it's true. There's another classic Jose Alfredo Jimenez song called "Que se me acabe la vida." It's just.
It's really uplifting,
depressing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's up with people. Everybody, let's go. No, it's none of that.
Heck, how about you?
Niño Perdido is good. The trumpet, that long trumpet, man. Yeah. And then it kind of gets into like a kind of more uppity tempo. So that's kind of a cool song. And it's always kind of cool when you're at an event to see how they pull it off. The mariachis goes off like behind, he into another room. If he has like the wireless mic, he'll be like outside the parking lot. Like, where'd he go? So it's actually kind of neat. There's actually a little more creativity with that particular song, and the way that mariachis do it and the way they pull it off is actually kind of neat. Plus, it's a cool song.
It is. It is. I mean, I think I dare say this in all seriousness, but in college, I danced in a folklorico group. So I have, in full mariachi regalia and the whole thing. So,
nice.
So it was very, so again, I equate a lot of that stuff with, when you get to college, you sort of find your roots and stuff and more often than not. And so when I danced folklorico, the mariachi stuff was always, it was sort of a reawakening to it,
Mm-hmm.
So.
So
anyway, I'm sorry. We've gone off on the craziest tangent. On this
I'm just gonna add the two favorite mariachi songs for me. Volver Volver is always special, and I do always love the mariachi version of Sabor a Mi, which is always which is one of my
I call the East LA national anthem, by the way.
Sí, claro que
dude,
sí.
Everybody and their mother knows that song. I mean,
Yep.
In any form.
And Los Lobos actually does a marvelous, increíble version of it. Oh, it's just one of my favorites.
In that album, Just Another Band from East LA.
Because
that's what they started doing. So their story is fascinating. They started out doing a lot of that roots music, of the stuff that was done with trios and, son jarocho, all of that stuff. They picked it up in East LA they were doing quinceañeras and weddings, and probably an occasional funeral. And that's what they were, doing. One of my best friends in the world is a guitar maker, and he's in East LA, and it's called Candelas. And Los Lobos used to get, and they sell a lot of traditional instruments, so cuatros and tres and jaranas and all that stuff. And so they have, they used to hang out there. And, I remember my friend Tomas's dad would be like, I don't know about these guys, man. They have, they were all like hippied out kind of stuff and long beards. And that's not the traditional uniform of someone of a trio. The trios were always dressed to the nines. And
Yep.
And so, these guys look like hippies, and they got long beards, scraggly beards, and all that stuff. And it was really funny. When his father was alive, he would talk about that stuff. It was like, those guys look kind of weird. And I'm like, and then, but Jesus, one of the, longest lasting rock bands in all of rock history.
God, man, and to think how many times they, though unfortunately they're only known for La Bamba and
a little bit.
No,
I mean, yes, at a global level, but man, they if you look at the catalog, it's amazing. They just put out a new album, and a song called Native Sons is on that. I mean, they're still banging away at. They remind me, and unfortunately Charlie Watt passed away, but they remind me of the Stones, man. Stones have never deviated really from that sound that Keith and Charlie had much to do with it, because of his sort of that groove, that swing that he had on the kit. That they didn't deviate too much from it, and so it's fascinating. If you stick to what you're doing, Jorge, what episode is this now of
188?
See, if you stick to what you're doing, eventually people will pay attention and listen. So
I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to, still hopeful. Still, hopeful.
I mean, it's I think it's a testament to, I don't know what episode I was on. I think 13, and then now I've invited back to 188. So that's pretty impressive. Obviously, Hector, if you've noticed, Jorge is very jealous of my comedic abilities, so hence he doesn't invite me back as often. But that's, hey, what are you gonna do? I'm here today.
Well, you know what? We need you. We need you for ratings, because it's getting close to draft time. So people need to come on, and they need to be entertained. So
people need to hear what I'm going to do, so that they don't do that.
George Costanza. We're doing the opposite.
We're going to do the opposite of what he said. He said,
go this way. We're going to go this way instead.
Yeah.
Ay, Dios mío.
He said quarterback.
In a single QB, get first 2 rounds.
Standard league.
I'm going to get my quarterback right away.
Patrick Mahomes, then Josh Allen right off the bat.
On
the snake at number 12. It's quarterback.
I'm gonna take the best quarterback off the board, and then the second best quarterback off the board.
Just mess it all up.
We already talked about we talked a little bit about that. Well, first off, let's get into some Chisme. So we talked about Travis Etienne, and so that just, I mean, it sucks. And the one thing, our buen amigo Dr. Edwin Porras, he pointed out that a Lisfranc injury, a lot of times it's not, the player doesn't come back to full capacity until the second full year. So he could just be looking at 2023 before he's back. So Jesse, in 2023, you could draft him again as a rookie, as a third-year rookie.
There you go.
It's kind of like those people that go to Mission College on the 7-year plan.
It's a common plan. It's a good plan.
No, I'm sure it is.
Mission College, also known as Encino High School.
I would use ELAC, but I'm trying to spread the love around. I know my friends in the Valley, would appreciate that.
Muy bien, muy bien. Well, you got the familia right here in the Valley is all over it. So we also
it's a little bit closer. The sun is a little bit closer to you in the Valley. I know.
Yeah. By the way, my mom lives like half a mile from Mission College, so she's right there, right there. So Dallas Cowboy fans, we know there's a lot of you out there. Dak Prescott, he participated in 11 on 11. So just light the horns, just put the, lift, light the smoke and everything. It's coming. Todo viene. So You know, were either you guys worried about him?
They're living in fantasy land, the Cowboy fans.
Were either of you guys worried that he was going to miss time?
No,
I mean, that injury was pretty rough, man. I mean, you know, whenever you see something like that, you're always worried. You know, you're always worried about how he healed. You know,
but everything on the leg is fine.
All the money. Jerry Jones has all the money, so he was gonna fix it no matter what. You know, they have to inject him with God knows what. You know, they're gonna put it in him and get out there.
Like the $6 million man, we'll put it back together.
We can put them back together.
Bigger,
we have
stronger,
the technology.
Faster. That's right.
We have the technology.
That's right.
I'm telling you, I wasn't worried. He's, you know, all the reports are that he's going to be back. There was nothing torn. He just, you know, it just sounds like he's not going to be doing any of those long, you know, those long.
I just think it's going to make it interesting to see all of those. You know, it's good that he's back because I think what will happen is that, you know, all those Cowboy losses will be close. And not complete blowout.
Muy cierto.
I'm just, you know.
Well, Jesse, you know, you being a Charger fan, this next one has, you know, kind of tangentially a little bit to do for you. Teddy B. And actually, this also has to do with my primo Hector, who last year had a major man crush on Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, that didn't pan out.
No, it did not work. But, you know, you know, he's got great weapons. Jerry Jeudy's ready for a year or two jump. Cortland Sutton coming back from torn ACL. It's a great offensive line. Noah Fant is, you know, I'm excited about those weapons. What do you guys think about them? About him coming?
It's, you know what, I love Teddy Bridgewater's story. I think that's, you know, it goes without saying. Somebody who can recover and then perform. I mean, we saw that with RG3 not being able to come back, right? So it's not. I mean, he recovered as best he could, but he wasn't the same. Mm-hmm. And so that Teddy can come back and be the at the level he was at. I think that's super impressive. And I don't know. If the Broncos, I listen as a Charger fan, I hope they play Drew Lock. I'm not being serious. I'm putting all my cards on the table because I think they have a better chance with Teddy B. I think they do. You know, and Drew is you know, is a San Diego, as a Los Angeles Charger, is a fan favorite for the Los Angeles Chargers because he's wholly inconsistent. He's, you know, I mean, God Almighty, up and down. And I don't know what that's if that's because he's reached his apex and this is the what you got. I think with Teddy, you know, you mentioned that offensive line. I think, you know, he's a guy that, you know, his you know, knows what it's like to be in a good situation and in a bad situation. This is the beauty of it, right? He has that perspective that I don't think a lot of quarterbacks have. And being down from that kind of injury, what do you do? Every day is a great day because you know what? I get to walk again. You know, I get to play this game again. And I think that's a driver that not a lot of guys have, you know. So I hope they don't play Teddy B, to be quite honest, because I think this is a good mix for him.
Who's the RB over there? I mean, they had Melvin Gordon. Is Melvin Gordon still in the mix over there?
Melvin Gordon left. No, he's still there. He's still there.
Who did he?
It's Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is the rookie.
That's right.
So Melvin Gordon, he, you know, the way I had our friend Jose Rowles, Joe Rowles from Mile High Report, and his prediction is Melvin Gordon's going to be the starting running back at the beginning of the season, but that Javonte Williams is going to eventually take the job over, kind of like the way Nick Chubb did a few years ago when he took the job and when they traded Carlos Hyde and he was gone. So it could be one of those things. I mean, Melvin Gordon.
But I've seen where Javonte. That's what I was trying to think. Is Javonte is rated higher than Melvin. In
rankings, yes, he's going higher. He's going higher, even though he will probably be. I would predict he's going to get more touches in the first month of the season, and then just progressively get more as the season goes on. But Teddy B, I mean, he had 2 1,000-yard receivers last year, and DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. And Curtis Samuel had 1,000 yards total, had like close to 900 yards receiving and over 100 yards rushing. So, this is, Teddy B can facilitate, even though his stats won't look special. He can get 1,000-yard receivers, so I think that's good news for Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. I mean,
and look who he put as at 1,000-yard receivers, right? I mean, these are not, Anderson is talk about mercurial. Robbie can be, you one weekend you love him, and the next weekend you're like, how is this man playing in the NFL, right? So it's like. And so he really put that, he got those guys, he probably made those guys a lot of money. They should be thanking Teddy B.
Did. He sure did. Well, another guy that a trade that happened today, the Rams traded for Sony Michel. So obviously,
is they had the Sony or is it Sony? That's what I've always wondered about him.
Sony.
It's Sony. Just like the technology.
The video game.
Looking for a deal, for an endorsement deal early on in your life when your mother names you Sony. I mean, man, was it Sonny or Sony? No, we're gonna get some money. We're gonna get paid. It's
better than Memorex or
oh yeah, that's true. He could have thought.
What were some of the other ones? Sanyo.
He could have been Panasonic or Sanyo. Yeah, you're right. Imagine Westinghouse.
Adios, man. This is why Jesse's on. The comedic values alone is great. So Sony Michel, the thing is, and I just kind of rewrote. I had an article that I wrote before the Cam Akers injury, so I rewrote the running back section. I really think this is going to be a full-blown committee. I think this is going to be like the 49ers, where it's like 49ers or the Patriots, where like on a given week, you just don't know who's going to be the lead running back, the lead caballo. Right. It's going to be different guys all over the place. And I wish.
Yeah, you're going to. I think that it was unique when it worked in Frisco a couple years ago, right? And
yep.
Can you replicate that for the Rams? What's going to be interesting is that you have an older quarterback. I know everybody likes to talk about how this is a welcome change or whatever, but you're still talking about an older quarterback who is probably that safety valve in running backs that can catch. Hence the reason Daryl's injury is again. These are world-class athletes and everything, but I got to think that sprained thumb is more than just a sprained thumb. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's been many a time when I've opened a can of beer and I've sprained my thumb. Mm-hmm. I've sprained my thumb, and for a couple of days, man, it hurts.
It hurts like hell.
You have a sprained thumb and you trade for a guy, right? And they didn't give up a lot. I don't, was it a 6th rounder and then a conditional, another conditional pick, right?
Like a 6th and a 5th or something.
You didn't give up a lot, but you made a move like that, So there was nobody of those guys that you brought in early that made a statement, right? And when Cam went down, I thought, oh my God, this is Daryl's money year. This is where he's and
it really looked like it. Really looked like it. Muy cierto. Muy cierto. Last bit of information. Curtis Samuel, he's back from that. The team is pretty optimistic that he's going to be able to start practicing sometime next week. Coach Ron Rivera, Latino power. Here's the thing. This is a guy coming off of COVID and a groin injury, and so he hasn't, and he's coming to a new team. So I really liked him in this situation. I just have a feeling that he's gonna take some time, maybe about a month into the season before he really starts to take off. And the thing is, I don't know if he'll be worth it. I mean, I may be looking to pick him up if somebody like Jesse drops him in our True Blue League. Se pone impaciente, vámonos. Forget that guy. He's dead.
He's dead to me. You're dead to me.
Yep. But
Muppet.
But that's the thing. It's I don't know. I'm really starting to fade him.
I think the challenge is that there are so many. Like he's going to be a mid-50s guy, right? Amongst wide receivers, right? So there's going to be so many other guys that are going to be sort of right there in that same line with him. Who's the guy out of Dallas? Gallup, right? He's probably in that. Probably in that line.
I'm looking that up right now.
Yeah, so you're probably looking at this point in his career, a T.Y. Hilton being at that same level. So you've got guys that the one that is interesting to me is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think that's going to be ASB is going to be an interesting guy to to take a look at, and I think he's going to be in that sort of that range where come draft time. But I think that one thing is to take a flyer on Saquon, right? You don't know when he's coming back, what exactly day. Curtis Samuel's not the same kind of guy. So and because there's so many other people that you can make a move with. I don't think that if you make an analysis of that, that's probably not the best use of my 28th pick or 29th pick, in the draft. I'm gonna wait.
Now that you can't pick kickers, so pick a kicker in the 7th round.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. I just want to say that Jorge demonized the kicker in our league to the point where I no longer was able to make a 7th round selection of a kicker, part of our draft anymore.
I will say, well, part of the reason, Jesse, that I hate kickers is because of our Familia League. And what happened was it was 2018. I had Patrick Mahomes. I had a super team. And in the fantasy playoffs, in the semifinals, a kicker outpointed Patrick Mahomes. And I ended up losing just like a low scoring game. It was it was horrible.
So what you're saying is we're paying for the sins of another league.
Yes, the Familia League.
From years ago.
Wow.
Talk about holding a grudge.
I don't forget, man. I don't forget. I'm Scorpio. I'm Scorpio, Theo Jesse. It's I don't forget.
You are a cheated woman, is what you are. I'm not gonna forget, Cabron. What? What?
This is again. You can't get this comedy anywhere else. You can't get this. Oh,
and it's free. And it's free. You get what you pay for.
Exactly. Well, when the lady who was getting her cabron, these are our cabrones, my guys, our hombres. We all got them. We all todos tenemos our guys. So we made a list. And Jesse, I know I didn't grab players from you. If there's a couple guys, you just throw them out there. But and we could talk about it.
Well, one of my guys is in there, and right away who I'm a huge fan of, and I share that with you. So I'm going to say for once, Jorge is really smart.
Well, let's start with him. Let's start with him. You're talking about the golden boy of the Chargers.
Oh yes, sir, Justin Hebert. Remember, it's French. It's French.
Theo Jesse.
It's Hebert, Justin Hebert. What more can you say, dude? One of the most impressive rookie seasons in the NFL. I believe the word is ever. That to me was for him to come out and to he didn't have a healthy Austin Eckler, right? He didn't. He had a lot of pieces missing.
No offensive line.
No offensive line, for God's sakes. Talk about I don't know what the stat is on how quickly you get rid of the football accurately. Because there's some quarterbacks who do it inaccurately. But you think about it, that guy was throwing that ball in 3.5 seconds. God almighty. It was coming out of his hands
and throwing
as
dimes.
He's backing up and setting his feet. It was just an amazing display. And for a guy who thrown into it, right? At the last second, I don't care if you're the vice president of the United States, you're not prepared to take over on, 22-minute notice, or whatever the hell he got, is just one of those things. It's like, man, he stepped in and boom, so to me,
Vámonos.
It's an amazing, it's an amazing guy. And granted, I think the Chargers took some big steps on the offensive line. They had to. I mean, it was a sponge. It was not even, people say it was porous. I said, no, it was a sponge. There was water leaking everywhere. And so, if you give that guy 4.5 seconds to throw the ball, now, hey,
things are going to happen. That's right.
Things are going to, I mean, this is, I think I am so excited for this season from the Chargers standpoint. I mean, we are finally going to be able to say, Drew who, I think that's, one of the things that, is exciting about this year. So I'm sorry. I've been really effusive about Justin, but I think rightly so. He's a great guy.
No, and that leads into my pick. One of my guys is Keenan Allen, because exactly everything that you just everything that Theo Jesse just pointed out, it lends itself exactly to Keenan Allen, who was Justin Herbert's number one target. So if Justin Herbert was all the everything that Jesse just said, that only lends itself to Keenan Allen having an even better season. Eckler was out a lot of the last season. You get a balanced offense. Now you get Herbert with a better offensive line. He's going to have more time to pass. He and Keenan Allen are like, Batman and Robin. If he's got time to throw, Keenan Allen is his, he's by far his favorite target. There's not really a number two. He's easily his number one guy. So he's going to be going to him even more, leaning on him. The cagey veteran Keenan Allen, who's still got a lot of life in the tank. So I'm only looking for.
I agree with you 1,000%. And Keenan does have the weirdest head in NFL. I'm just going to let you know.
And I got him last year in the 7th round in our league. I got Keenan Allen last year in the 7th
in the helmet. I'm saying in the helmet, it just looks weird, And so, but and that's why I like him. No, I'm just kidding. But he's an amazing receiver, and I think one of the things that we look at more often than not from a production standpoint is one, like how he would dominate over these, smaller, and they're not smaller anymore. They're 6 feet tall, but, on the corners that would try to pressure him, thinking that, he's a little bit older. They can get a little bit of an edge on him.
Oh, no.
And that experience, man, that dude, he's
mean. He's a mean hombre. No, doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be.
And the production
he really
is there.
knows how to use that leverage. He's somebody that I think is going to be a key for this season. But it also you raise another point, and I think it's good to point it out, is that San Diego's who's the second, who's the third, who's the fourth receiver. That to me is a little bit of a concern. Second receiver is obviously going to be Austin Eckler.
Right.
Coming out of the backfield. I mean, that's just going to be the case. I mean, that's, to me, that's the big challenge, So
if you can get Eckler, early, and then you can, line up Keenan Allen too, you're in good shape with that stack.
I really do, because, I mean, who did we pick up at tight end? We have Jared Cook this year,
Jared
right?
Cook.
So,
not a lot expected of him.
Jared Cook is a great run blocker at tight end.
He'll catch some balls, but he's like the number 4 option. Mike Williams is going to be keep an eye on Mike Williams contract year.
A healthy Mike Williams. Watch out.
Well, it's a contract year, yes, but I think part of the challenge is that he missed out. Who's the South Carolina kid that the Raiders picked up in the second round?
Brian Edwards.
Yeah, man, that would have been a great pick for the Chargers, man. I really love that dude. I think that was the last time I was on the podcast. I was just going on and on about that Brian Edwards kid. That would have been that kind of receiver for these guys is what we need. Sorry, I'm playing fantasy.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna now. I know who he's gonna be grabbing at the end of the in like the 13th round.
Now you know exactly.
Oh, but you know what?
Keenan, the thing about the draft.
Getting back to Keenan, I mean, one last thing on Keenan, this guy is a lock for 100 receptions. I mean, last year he only played 14 games and he got 100 receptions. So 100 receptions, over 1,000 yards. He's just, I mean, he's one of the best route runners in the NFL. He's very underrated. I love getting him. I mean, he's going, what is it? He's going
303
in the third round, 303. Yeah. So, I mean, but 100 receptions at any point, I'm taking it. I am taking it. Dámelo.
I think Keenan is certainly going to go. He's going to be way out of there by middle of the third round.
Easy.
I don't see him lasting.
He won't last. No way. Not after what Herbert did last year and the expectations for this year. Keenan's not.
And I know we don't want to spell out all our strategy, but I do love the QB. You know, having the QB receiver matchup on a team. I rode that to victory as well. And I some people, you know, like whatever about it, but I mean, I think that's one of those things that, for me anyway, it makes a lot of sense to be able to do that. And if nothing else, it's fantastic to watch when they score a touchdown. It makes that, you know, it does. It just feel like, oh my God, I'm going to get points on both sides. Yes. You know, damn it. But anyway.
Oh man. Well, another guy who gets points lots of different ways, Kyler Murray. So, you know, I made the stipulation that we not pick anybody in the first 2 rounds. And so for single quarterback leagues, Kyler Murray's going in the 4th round. He's going as the QB3. And Primo and Tio, I'm looking at this guy's my QB1 this year. This guy, I'm putting out rankings, and he's my QB1. I'm putting him just ahead of Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to have 1,000 yards, close to 1,000 yards rushing, and he's going to throw for 30 plus TDs, over 4,000 yards. This guy is going to be a stud.
But you know what? Again, the one thing I think about is that for how long is he going to be your number 1 guy?
Let's just see.
That's just the big challenge, you know.
And that was the thing. He got hurt last year. He hurt his shoulder.
What week did he get hurt? Oh, wait.
Week 11. And at that point, he was averaging 29 fantasy points per game. And all of a sudden, and I mean, that was more than Lamar Jackson had in 2019 and more than Patrick Mahomes had in 2018 in their record-setting years. He was on his way to have the greatest fantasy season ever, and then he hurt his shoulder and everything slowed down. He was QB 17.
I'm just letting you know now, with the 15th pick in the draft, I'm taking Kyler Murray.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding.
After you take Najee Harris,
I'll wait till the 29th pick.
After you take Najee Harris, right?
Najee Harris.
He's a rookie. Give me all the rookies and the kickers.
I'm telling you, well, Najee will go high. Najee will go really high.
He will go high. But you know what?
I think he'll sneak in. I think he'll sneak into the first round. I honestly do. You know.
Oh yeah. He'll be there. I mean, hey, we might take him from you, puppy. We might take him from you.
Well, listen, if you do that, my friend, I'm hoping there's a gentleman by the name of Tyreek Hill. Then I'll let you know that.
He might have to be. He might be at that point.
I think what I've seen on consensus and is that Stephon is going to be available at that point, you know, for us. So
Diggs,
we'll unless somebody's a huge fan of Stephon, or you know, maybe a D-Hop that somebody's. And again, you know, talking about Kyler, you know, D-Hop down there is going to, you know, is also going to be an interesting scenario for him, right? So,
oh yeah, it's. I mean, that's the thing. D-Hop is to Kyler Murray what Stephon Diggs is to Josh Allen. So it's and the thing with D-Hop, he only had 6 touchdowns last year. So could he be looking at, you know? I love the positive regression. Isn't positive regression really progression? But you know, I digress. You know, words.
I have a political science degree, not the English degree. Sorry.
But so I look at him. I think that DeAndre Hopkins could be a candidate for 10 touchdowns this year. I mean, I think it's very real with as much volume as he's going to get, and Kyler Murray taking another further step. I think it's going to be a special season. All right, well, let's keep it. I was
just going to say that if you think about, you know, Arizona. I mean, D-Hop, just to finish that off, I think one of the things is that the production is what's really going to carry you, on a week by week basis. The consistency of that production, I think, is going to be the fascinating part for people to see.
Muy cierto. Muy cierto. Well, a guy who became a lot more fascinating in the last day, James Robinson. Hello, Mr. Robinson. So right now, currently, this is Primo Ricky's pick. So he went off. He's going off at the 411. I think this is going to just jump up. I don't think he's going to get up to the first round, but I think I think in a lot of drafts he's going to go to the second round. I think a lot of people looked at the 1,400 total yards that he had last year and 10 touchdowns. He was a force in the passing game.
But isn't the offensive? The offense is completely revamped, right? New coaching staff, new offensive coordinator.
It's totally
yeah. The first couple, the preseason, they do not look good at all, man.
Nope.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of concern.
You remember? Jorge's gonna remember the Paper Tigers. Remember the movie where Alan Alda's in there, right?
That's what Trevor Lawrence looked.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like to me. I was like, yeah, this is painful to watch.
It was pretty rough. So I don't know. I mean, they need to make a big jump because I mean the offense didn't look porous. I don't know, man. To me, James Robinson. Again, since everything's just revamped from last year, everything was clicking last year, with Minshew Mania and all that, but everything's new now, and it just seems like they just don't look good, man, and that does not bode well.
I think if you put the highlight reel together for that those games, the preseason so far, it's going to be the soundtrack should be Ball of Confusion. That's what it really looks like. Like wow,
yeah, they don't look good.
Oh, that's the center. That's the center, buddy. Go. You're like, woo.
Ay, Dios mío.
Go for the guy in the middle.
I mean, he's a guy that's gonna get a lot of attention. But you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna let somebody else draft him in the second round.
I mean, at that fourth round, you're talking like Kareem Hunt is still in there.
Yep.
You're gonna have, you gotta. I mean, who's the receiver in Minnesota? Our white guy, Thielen, right?
Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen is going to be in a fourth round setup. There's so many other choices. I just think that the next the next favorite that you have, and I know this is a horrible segue, but David Montgomery. I mean, you're going to have. There's so many quality, at that level now, right? We talked about how this is so stacked on the wide receiver side. But in that next group of running backs, that not the elite, we go to that next group, which is a big fall off. There's a lot of other people you could be picking up, more so than James Robinson.
For me, David Montgomery is one of the guys that I'm targeting. If I went like running back receiver or running back and elite tight end in the first round to kind of close out my running backs, I think, or if I just think to me, I think he's vastly underrated this year. He's going off as the RB16 right now. And a lot of people are like, oh, he had that closing kick against horrible teams. But you know what? The fact of the matter is he still had to do it. And he was a different type of runner by the end of the season. Plus,
yeah, he was.
One of the things that was pointed out to me from Lester Wiltfong of Windy City Gridiron, Montgomery went to a speed coach over the season. And he totally revamped the way that he runs to be faster and more powerful. And I mean, this guy, I think he's going to be ready for a top 10 season, and you're going to be getting him in the third round.
You got him in third round. I could think he could go late second. I mean, to be honest, I think, he's a favorite of my neighbor because my neighbor played at Iowa State.
Yes.
So he's so I know that. Wow. So
but he's good. He's going to get red zone attempts. He had 47 red zone attempts last year. So, I mean, and he was number 3 in broken tackles. To me, it's like, come on, you're breaking tackles and, he got 590 yards after contact, which is 5th in the league. I mean, this is a guy he's 24. So he's very much in his athletic prime for a running back. Damelo. I'll take him. him.
No, I think that's a strong, that you make a strong case for him. And I think that, And again, how much does he get overlooked when Tyreek Cohen comes back? That's going to be an interesting thing. I think if he sets his if he sets the tone and sets himself up correctly, I don't think Tariq is. I think Tariq becomes sort of a odd man out in that scenario.
Oh, I really think.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. Muy cierto. Muy cierto. It's funny. Heck, remember last year how we convinced Ricky to put Marquise Hollywood Brown as one of his favorite picks? He's going in the 12th round this year. He's going in the 12th round. He went in the 5th round last year, at the end of the 5th, early 6th. So as a wide receiver 26, he's the wide receiver 55. 55, like Sammy Hagar.
Isn't he the number one option on the Ravens offense? I mean, as far as receivers,
he is kind of coming back from a hamstring injury, so we got to keep an eye on that. But he's back in practicing. But Rashad Bateman, who everybody was talking about, before the season, he had surgery. He's out the early part of the season. So it's basically him and Sammy Watkins and Mark Andrews, who are the options in the passing game.
Right. Well, I think the number one receiver is Mark Andrews.
Muy cierto. Eso sí. Eso sí.
And then whoever's number 2 receiver is whoever is the running back in that particular offensive set. And then your number 3
Dobbins.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to be, listen, we're not picking him as a QB for his deep ball ability, and you're picking him because he's going to rack up points, on the ground, dumping and running,
The one thing though, in the 12th round, I'm taking a chance on Hollywood Brown. I'm grabbing him.
Heck yeah!
It's
a high-powered offense. I mean, you want a piece of real estate in the high-powered offenses. The offenses that are going to score a lot of points. Lamar Jackson there. There's going to be points scored, and if they're going to be doing that, they're going to be marching down the field and getting yards. Marquise Brown's going to be part of that equation. So.
I just think it comes back to, and I don't know, because Harbaugh is going to be doing Harbaugh again, so it's not like you already know what's coming at you. If you're playing against, the you know what I mean. You could be setting up your defense from 3 years ago. It's going to be the same. That's the defense to attack, Baltimore, and so I think that, or 2 years ago, right? So I mean, it's not like they're going to switch anything up on you. It's really the ability to get the ball to him on the part of Lamar. And so I haven't heard anything, and I don't have my ear to the grindstone on the Ravens, fan sites or anything like that. But I didn't see any kind of, stories on him, working on footwork or working on release or working on any of that. So I don't know. Again, it's going to be interesting to see what somebody knows something if he's dropping that much. You know what I mean? Even if he goes in the 10th round, that's still 5 rounds of a drop. If you win, if you're super optimistic and take him in the 10th round, right? So it's like somebody knows something, and so it's
like what's the reason that he's going that far? But yeah, if he falls to you in the 12th round, he's definitely worth a pickup for sure. If he makes it that far.
And to the Run Boys Fantasy Network, cheers to me, cheers to you. To the Run Boys Fantasy Network, thank you for joining us in the chat. Salud, boys. So we got another one, Chase Claypool. This is one of mine. He's going off as the wide receiver 24 in the 6th round. Jesse, you're not. I know I'm going to have to take him at some point to steal him from you. But I mean,
I like Chase Claypool. I do.
Love him. Dígame. I think this is unanimous on this one.
Yeah, I think Chase is a budding star in this league. Obviously, he is. There's going to be what version of the quarterback that that's throwing the ball to him is coming. That's going to be interesting to see where it ends up lining up. But man, I really like this guy, and I think 6th round is really late for him. I honestly, I think I would take him over, probably on top of a Jamar Chase,
Definitely
over like a T Higgins, and those guys are slated to be fives. I think I would take him, a lot higher, and I think that's, going to be something to be said. I mean, and look, Pittsburgh. I mean, I don't, we never think of Pittsburgh as a high-powered offense, but was it last year that Ben? How many balls did Ben throw that one game? Was it last
like
year?
64? It was 64
like
balls.
That's something crazy.
He was throwing it with two hands.
Exactly.
Right? They've got Deontay Johnson. They've got a. I mean, all of a sudden you're like, hey, wait a minute. If somebody's throwing the ball 64 times, well, hell, 50 times. Right?
That means he's making first downs as well. That means they're going to keep it going. Claypool,
Juju. We all forget.
And Juju.
Right?
Claypool,
like Jesus.
It reminds you this year of DK Metcalf, because last year DK I think was going in around 6 or 7. He had a great year. Now this year he's going way, way higher. I think Claypool is going to be the same thing. Like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett is like Claypool and Deontay. I think those are going to be the two main targets for Ben. Juju kind of slipping a little. I think he's going to be the third option for sure. But I see Claypool.
But you put that together, and it's like somebody's throwing the ball 64 times.
Yeah.
Let's say he's got 66% completion rate, right? That's still 40 balls.
Exactly.
I'm like,
40 completions.
You want to get a receiver. You want to get a receiver.
Last time I checked, the type of league that we're in, that's to a benefit.
I love it, and he's got a nose for the end zone. That to me, the thing is, he's got a power to his game and speed. I mean, he really is a DK. I don't know if he takes as big a leap as DK Metcalf, but I think it'll be close, and I would not be shocked if he got another 10 touchdowns.
Totally agree. He's gonna keep moving up. He's an emerging star, and this may be the last year for a while that you're gonna get Chase Claypool, or that he's going. After the 4th or 5th round, because I think next year, he's not going past the 4th round. There's no way anybody, and I think that he's 601 right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, and in some leagues, I honestly think he might go ahead of Deontay Johnson. I'm just saying.
There will be some leagues.
Yeah,
he's that sexy. Está muy sexy. Él es sexy.
Rico.
All right.
So I don't think anybody had a more sexy picture than Robbie Anderson last year. I wish I could figure out how to put pictures up here. But he had the pelo going that way and that way and that way. But
16 different ways.
Hector, this is your guy. Dígame.
Yeah, I mean, I see. I had Robbie Anderson on my squad a couple years back on the Jets with Sam Darnold, and it just every year Robbie Anderson just has some great hands. If you pay attention, if you've ever had him on your squad, this guy's just great. This guy's going to get points. He's efficient. He runs great routes. He's fast. The guy's just a great athlete. He's a leaper. He's going to get the jump balls. So and just with rapport, we talk about Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. Those guys have a connection. Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold have a connection. So I see him outperforming DJ Moore, on the squad. I think Sam Darnold and him, they go back a ways. I like Robbie Anderson. I'm targeting him any and all leagues that I'm going to be in this year. I want to make sure I get Robbie Anderson. He's one of my guys. I definitely want to be. He just had a big contract, 2-year extension. So he's going to be thrilled and, excited to be out there catching balls and stuff. So he's going to be in a great mood, doing his thing. So yeah, I'm definitely targeting him.
Plus Sam Darnold.
I have the exact opposite reaction to Robbie Anderson.
Dígame.
Only because every time I had Robbie on a team 2 years ago, and it just seemed like every time I sat him down, he had a great game. And every time he played, I played him. He had like a mediocre game. Right. And I was just like, son of a bitch. Talk about a Costanza moment. I was like, always.
The opposite.
How in the hell? And then he goes off for 20-something points, and you're like, oh, I gotta put him in, and then it's 6. Okay.
Yeah, but that was also a whole different team. He had Teddy B last year, so I think Darnold.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Darnold, but I think at least he's now in a system that I think.
Yeah, he's not on the Jets.
Yeah, I know. Forget about system.
Yes.
He's not on the Jets. I mean,
that's all you need to know.
And actually, we'll see what Saleh can do out there. But I mean, what a crazy ass. It must have been bananas to be on those Jets teams just the last 2 years. It's just, I mean, that dude was a basket case, and I can't even begin to imagine. You go to work
like Jared Goff. When he was on the Rams, under Jeff Fisher. Like, oh my God, can this guy even be an NFL quarterback? Change the head coach, and the guy goes to the Super Bowl. So
I think that's where you hit it, right? Is like that system. I think for Darnold is it works. I mean, be everything. And I think that it's going to be again, you're going to have an opportunity to showcase what you got, and it's an important year for him.
Nice. It's a put up or shut up year for Darnold. Yep. We've been waiting for it. We've been waiting for it. So
it's one of those things where you either rise to the occasion and you make yourself a lot of money, or you
can't do it.
You become Drew Lock. And so
or you become Josh Rosen.
Well, he's not playing. That's what I'm saying. He's Drew Lock. Drew's gonna still be playing. Who's the kid from Memphis that the Broncos had is now playing in Canada? Oh my God, Lynch.
Yes, Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch. I mean, I don't know what they pay in Canada. I know it's in Canadian dollars, but it's not the equivalent of what they make in the NFL as a backup. So
it's better than the Mexican Football League where they pay you in pesos. So
I believe just slightly. Look at God. God. All of those guys would love to be in Marcus Mariota's shoes. I mean, to be honest, Marcus is just sitting there, getting paid,
holding a nice clipboard.
I don't know. I think the third string doesn't the third stringer hold a clipboard?
It's the backup. It's the backup.
So look, he risks thumb injuries, right? When you're holding the clipboard like that, because sometimes you stick it through the little
snap down on your finger.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
You could dislocate a knuckle.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize.
Yeah. You can inadvertently, you know how you hold up the little thing that te puede pinchar. So
is that a word?
Right there.
Spanglish at its finest.
Of course, I like to tell I have a lot of all of our we do have a lot of folks in Mexico, and I always preface anytime I start speaking to someone who doesn't know my level of Spanish, which is very good. But I tell them I am from here, and we have created words that should be in the Spanish dictionary.
That's a whole other episode. That's a whole episode.
Exactly. But at the moment, they are not. At the moment, they are not. And, unfortunately, but I'm going to share them with you, and hopefully you guys will come to realize it. There's one of the more popular ones is figurar. And they look at me like, figurar? What is that? I go, oh, it's a derivative of figure it out. And then I go, lo vamos a figurar. And they're like, what is that? And I said, so now they all know what I'm saying. When I don't they don't. That's one of those words.
Lo estoy figurando.
Déjame un segundo. Déjame figurarlo y luego vamos a ver.
We got to write a Spanglish dictionary. Write a Spanglish dictionary, and that'll be number one on the.
I want to go to Spain and start throwing out those words like nicle, and una cuara, breca.
Classic.
Le diste muy dura la breca.
We got another comment from the Rum Boys. Paxton was straight basura.
Oh yeah, he was.
and he said that he said Jorge can play better quarterback than him, and with a big LOL. Yeah.
I believe that statement is 85% true. You'd get killed out there though.
I could play the paper line though. I could play the paper line. Oh my God. I have laughed so much in the last hour and 5 minutes, and Jesse, oh God, Theo Jesse, can't thank you enough for joining us. I mean, this was a
I'm
blast.
sorry I'm not a permanent part of the show, Hector, but again, I told you George is, really celoso. He doesn't want me on the show.
I don't want to get outshined. No, you know what? Hey, you know what? We gotta. It's gonna be Wednesday evenings. So every week we're gonna do the Adentro y Afuera episode to kind of preview the games for the weekend and the players were in and out. So Jesse, we're gonna keep bringing you back. We gotta, heck, we gotta do an episode with Jesse and Nico. We'll be laughing our butts off. Oh,
gotta be comedy gold.
Our primo Nico is the comedy gold. So what'll happen is we'll just let YouTube go off and we'll just shut up. We'll just shut up.
That'll just be a whole other episode. Just exactly. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
We can't let the show end though, Jorge, without Hector flexing on the logo.
There you go. Flex on the logo.
Here we go. So that was it. There it is, the logo.
There it is. There it is, right there. Right there. Right there.
Well,
it's official.
Jesus, you know what? Give a promo to all the cool stuff you got going on right now.
Best thing to do is look us up all over social media at the 5MX, and that's THE 5, the number 5, and then MX, which stands for 5 Mexicanos. In actuality, that's the company name. At the5mx.com, and you can check a look at all the different things we're involved with. We're very excited, like I said, what's coming down the pipe, and hopefully we soon will have an app for your particular favorite athlete. Maybe Robbie Anderson, Hector. I mean, you never know. So, but we're very excited that we're bringing the platform to bear, and I hope if everybody has, you can hit me at Jesse Hyperactive on Twitter, or look me up that way on Instagram as well. You can DM me, and if you're interested more about what we're doing, love to chat. So, definitely for sure.
And it's Jesse Hyperactive. That's
just it's Jesse
without an E at the
end. Without the E on Twitter, and with the E on. It's also a fabulously good looking Chicano, but that's just a different one. That's like a different
another fabulously looking Chicano.
That's a different guy, not me. So
oh man. Well, everybody, familia, eso es todo for our show. We want to say a special thank you to Anchor for being our hosting network and putting our audio version out on Apple, Google, Spotify. Please make sure to subscribe. Hit the like, give us a review on YouTube. All our faces are on there. We're live streaming on YouTube. We're on Periscope too. Please make sure you're subscribing. Again, give us a like. Oh, gracias. Gracias to the Rum Boys Fantasy Network for following us. Muchas gracias, boys. Dilly. I'm going to have another beer in your honor right now. Also, make sure to follow our original
Havana
content.
Club rum. I want to know about the rum though. Are they doing Havana Club? What are they doing for the rum?
Caribbean.
Oh,
so
Caribbean.
The owner, the CEO of the Rum Boys is Dominicano. So
yeah. Hey, look at me, man.
Sí, muy cierto.
Manny Mota.
Órale. So make sure you're following original content at familiaffb.com. Also, I'm winding up our beat writer series. We've got the Washington football team and Carolina Panthers coming up on deck. We want to make sure, and the Patriots are coming soon. So make sure you're following that. And if you've missed any of those episodes, you want to get that insider view, just go to our Familia FFB page on YouTube, and they're all archived on there. So otra vez, awesome. Follow me at Jorge Martin 17. Hector
at What the Heck 2 T's.
And we already gave you where to find Jesse. So otra vez, everybody, Jesse, otra vez gracias a ti, and everybody, gracias a ustedes for watching. And remember, todos somos familia.
Adios, amigos.
Salud. Ciao, baby. Ciao.